A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a historic move, French President Emmanuel Macron has formally recognized France's involvement in what he described as repressive violence during Cameroon's quest for independence. This acknowledgement comes through a letter addressed to Cameroonian President Paul Biya, made public on August 12, 2025. The letter follows a comprehensive report released earlier this year by a joint commission of French and Cameroonian historians, which delves deeply into the colonial history between 1945 and 1971. The report highlights France's brutal suppression of Cameroonian independence efforts, detailing mass forced displacements, internment of hundreds of thousands of Cameroonians, and the backing of violent militias aimed at quelling the independence movement. Macron's letter states, "The historians of the commission made it very clear that there was a war in Cameroon, during which the colonial authorities and the French army carried out repressive violence of several kinds in certain parts of the country. This war, as Macron noted, continued even after Cameroon gained independence in 1960, with France allegedly supporting actions taken by the newly independent Cameroonian government." The acknowledgement marks a significant moment in France's reckoning with its colonial past, especially in light of the historical context. Cameroon was under French rule after World War I, following its division from German control. As the country began its push for independence post-World War II, France's violent response led to the loss of tens of thousands of lives and the displacement of countless others. The report indicates that between 1956 and 1961 alone, the conflict resulted in catastrophic human costs. Macron's recognition of France's role is seen as a step toward addressing the long-ignored atrocities of colonialism, although he stopped short of issuing an official apology for the actions of French troops during this dark chapter. The French president's letter also references the deaths of key independence leaders, including Ruben Niobe, Paul Momo, Isaac Niobe Panjak, and Jérémie Deline, who were killed during military operations led by French forces between 1958 and 1960. Macron's administration has previously taken steps to confront France's colonial legacy, including acknowledgments of responsibility for the 1994 Rwandan genocide and other historical injustices. However, the lack of a formal apology for the abuses in Algeria remains a point of contention. As France grapples with its colonial past, the acknowledgement of its violent history in Cameroon comes at a time when the country's presence in its former African colonies is increasingly questioned. Macron has proposed the establishment of a bilateral working group to facilitate further research and education on this subject, as well as access to French archives to allow historians to build on the Commission's findings. The move is seen as part of a broader effort to foster better relations with African nations, particularly as France seeks to redefine its role on the continent amid rising anti-French sentiment, particularly in the Sahel region. The situation in Cameroon remains complex, with President Biya, who has been in power since 1982, facing criticism for his authoritarian rule and suppression of political opposition. Recent developments have seen the Constitutional Court reject the candidacy of opposition leader Maurice Kamto, further complicating the political landscape in the country. As Macron's letter brings to light the violent history of colonialism in Cameroon, it also raises questions about the future of France's relationship with its former colonies and the ongoing struggles for democracy and human rights in the region. The acknowledgement of France's past actions in Cameroon may pave the way for a more open dialogue about colonial history and its lasting impacts, but whether this will lead to meaningful change remains to be seen. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.